Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. I'm taking a call for New Zealand First on behalf of our spokesperson on this matter, Dennis O'Rourke. It is surprising, sir, that the government itself has not done a lot more to make tenancies more secure and to try to limit the rate of rent increases, because it is fundamental to improving the ability of people in this country to find a home if they cannot actually afford to buy one. And more people will never be able to afford one as a result of this government's policies. If you cannot afford to buy one, you will have to afford to rent one. And the quality of rentals becomes more important if it has to be a lifetime issue. And Mr. Speaker, rents must be affordable rather than simply market-based. My colleague read a book by Shamubil Equabs called Generation Rent, and it described the differences between New Zealand's rental market and legislation and those of other countries with much better developed rental markets and much better legislation. And it identified that there were three main differences. One was fair rents. The government needs to regulate rents, especially where landlords have been profiteering, especially in Auckland, because of the severe housing crisis there. There, the market has failed, rents have exploded, people were hurt, they are living in cars, and the government has done little more than make some inadequate provisions for emergency housing. Secondly, New Zealand does not have secure tenancies in comparison with what you see in other countries. New Zealand's tenancies tend to be short-term, and tenants have very little protection against eviction. It is too easy to get rid of tenants in this country so that they do not have another home to go to. And more long-term tenancies are going to be needed because people will not be able to afford to buy their own home. The government needs to do a lot more to encourage that, but again, nothing is being done. Thirdly, there is the question of the quality of rental properties. Much more must be done to improve the quality of rental properties, sir, so that people have a genuine alternative to owning their own home. And we are not seeing that. We are not seeing improvements on heating standards. We are also not seeing improvements as for weatherproofing. Damp homes and drafty homes are killers from a range of health issues which can be avoided by simple and basic requirements for leak-proofing, adequate ventilation and draft proofing. Sir, the purpose and the aim of this bill is to strengthen tenants' rights and promote secure long-term tenancies. This is in itself not enough, but is the right thing to do. So New Zealand First will support the bill to select committee. Looking through the main provisions, sir, the removal of tenants' responsibilities for letting fees, etc. The Principal Act provides that every tenancy agreement shall show minimum information. Then there's the statements in tenancy agreements, sir. The bill provides that when the tenancy terminates, the agreement must give the existing tenant has the right to renew the tenancy. This is also we regard as being appropriate. It is a way in which longer-term and more secure tenancies can be supported. But probably, sir, the most important provision in the agreement the bill requires is a statement of the criteria the landlord must use to calculate any future rent increase. And the bill, sir, also says that the rent may be increased provided it shall not be increased within 180 days after the date on which the last increase took effect. Lastly, there is the issue of termination by notice. The Principal Act sets out the various periods of notice to be given by a landlord to tenants in order to end a tenancy. Sir, overall, New Zealand First is happy to see the bill go to Select Committee and hear what submitters have to say on this bill. Kia ora.